Hello everybody, it's Sherry with Palette to Palette, and today we're going to be painting our house and picket fence, which is going to be the base piece for our new interchangeable files. So what we have here is our house and all of our fence pieces. We have holes here because we're going to be able to hang a sign there, and I actually just need to revamp the file just a tiny bit because my pegs didn't quite fit the hole. So it's a little too big in there, but we're going to make it work anyway. And then each month you're going to get interchangeable, I'm going to offer interchangeable pieces that will go on the sign that will hang on the front and that go in the picket fence. It's just going to be at the bottom. So let me show you how we're going to do that. You're also going to get this hanging hardware. So this is two pieces. You've got the square and the rectangle. The rectangle just gets glued to the bottom half of the square. Okay, and then when we're ready to hang this, we'll put glue on that little rectangle, and we glue that on, and our string or wire, I honestly just like to use the twine, goes here, or you can hang it if you have a nail in the wall where you want this to go. You can use, there's a sawtooth hanger already built right in. I don't know if you can see it in the video. Yeah, you can. The sawtooth part is already built right in. So if you're going to use this as a door hanger, though, you would put some twine from this hole to that hole so that it can hang on like your a wreath hanger. So you put that wreath hanger over the door, and this will hang right on that. So what we're going to do is paint. I'm going to show you a couple of my painting techniques. If you've seen some of my videos before, it's going to sound very familiar. So I use a lot of baby wipes, just unscented baby wipes. Because of the moisture in the wipe, I use that. It acts like a stain when you put it together with acrylic paint. And I use a lot of makeup wedges. So you can get your baby wipes and makeup wedges anywhere. Walmart. Makeup wedges, right now I've been getting them at Ulta Beauty. If you can't find them at the dollar store, you can usually find them there. And then just regular acrylic paints. Now you can get the, hold on, let me show you. So you can get the regular apple barrel paints right from Walmart. Walmart sells folk art craft paint as well, which is acrylic paint. And then I know the dollar store has this new, or Dollar Tree has this new Crafter Square stuff. So they have acrylic paint in there too, and it comes like this. These are also from Walmart. These are usually on the hanging tab, and it's still acrylic paint. These are a thicker acrylic paint, so if you go with this, you'll use way less paint than you will with the apple barrel bottle or with something like this. So, I mean, this still works. You can still get this paint, but this is $1.25 for 3 ounces, right, at Dollar Tree, and it's thinner, whereas these a lot of times are 50 cents for 2 ounces, a little bit thicker. And then these ones are a little more expensive if you can find them, and they're even thicker, so they'll go further. They are more expensive, and they are, how much is in here? 2.5 ounces. So this is in between this and this, it's size-wise, but whatever. So craft paint, any craft paint will do. The only thing that doesn't work very well as far as craft paint goes is if you get like the metallics, because they're usually pretty thin. So I am actually going to do a gray house and a white picket fence. Now there's 3 pieces of this picket fence that you don't have to touch, or all you have to do is glue them together. And those are what I like to call the spacers. So they're spacers so that we have room and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. So right now, I just put some gray paint on a paper plate, and I wrapped this baby wipe around a couple fingers, and I dipped it in the paint, and now I'm just going to rub it on. So it's not a full coverage that you can't see through. It looks more like a stain because the moisture from the baby wipe is mixing with that paint. And you can go over this again, and because you're wiping it on like this, it's pretty light, so it will dry fast, which sometimes is good if you're pressed for time and you're trying to get it done, like I usually am on videos. So it usually dries pretty quick, and if I want to go over it again with a second coat, I can. And it usually takes it pretty well. I'm kind of happy with the one coat coverage with the gray because it looks like a stain, but it doesn't smell like a stain. And it doesn't take forever to dry like a stain. And it won't mess with my wood glue adhesion like a stain would. So this works great. And look at that. Hardly any cleanup. I didn't have to get plastic gloves on. I mean, if you just had a manicure, you're still going to want to put some plastic gloves on, but but if you didn't, don't worry about it. So these 3 pieces of fence are my spacer pieces. I don't need to do anything with those except glue them together. This piece I want to paint white because it's my picket fence, but once I get that glued on there, that's the only thing you're going to see other than the edges. And the edge of a fence, I mean, you can paint that whole thing white if you want. It's going to take you a few coats to do that. But let's get started on that. Let me get some white. Hopefully this is a new bottle of white that I had in my cabinet. Good. So the last bottle of white that I was using had a lot of clumps in it, and I don't know why. I must have left the cap off and don't remember doing it. But so this is where a sponge comes in handy because I'm just going to dab it. So I'm just dabbing on the top, and I will do 2 coats because I want this to be a nice white, bright white picket fence. So I will probably do 2 coats on this. And this, again, this dries pretty quick too when you're dabbing it on like this. So you can usually go right over it a second time pretty quickly. I keep thinking that somebody's at the other door, but it's just, I'm vacuuming while I'm painting. I've got the little shark robot vacuum going in there, and it keeps bumping the front door. I'm like, oh, who's here? Okay, so I'm going to start going back over the fence with my second coat. And then I'm going to get my glue out. So I'm just going to use wood glue because that works okay for me. Super glue works well too, especially the gel. E6000 I think will work well too, even if you're going to hang this outside. But any of these projects that you get from pallet to pallet, you don't want to put outside where they're going to be in the weather all the time. A covered porch is fine. A main door with a screen door, so in between the two is fine. But if you don't have a porch overhang or something like that, you're not going to want this one on your door. You're going to want to put this on the inside of your home instead of on your door. So maybe put it on your door so you can look at it all the time, right? Put it on the inside of your door or hang it on the wall. Okay, so 2 coats looks good to me. Now I'm going to get out the glue. And like I said, we're just gluing these 3 pieces together. So I'm going to make sure that this is in camera view here. I'm going to put some wood glue on all of these pieces. Not a lot. I don't want it to, you know, fall out over the edges or anything like that. And where it did get a little heavy, I'm going to just wipe it down with my finger because I don't want it to come out over the sides. And I'm going to put a second piece on there, line everything up. Give it a little bit of pressure so that it sticks a little bit. Now, depending on what kind of glue you are using, you may have to just, if you're using super glue, I mean, you can go right at it, but I'm not sure how the adhesion of other glues works, but just play it by ear. If you can go right on to this step, then go for it. If not, you might have to let it dry a little bit before you go on to the third level of spacer. Okay, that looks good. And the reason that I do 3 levels is because a lot of the insert pieces, the interchangeable pieces that will sit inside of this are going to be 2. So you want to have that extra room for them to move a little bit in there. Otherwise, you have to shove them all in there every time you wanted to change it out. So this interchangeables are very popular right now, and this is a pretty neat way to decorate without having to change out everything in your home, right? So if you've just got this on your door, or if you've got this hanging on a part of your wall, and you can change out some of the, you know, the decor pieces that go in, sit behind the little fence here, those are the interchangeable pieces, then you've got some decorations up for a holiday or a season without having to change your whole entire house. So you're still festive, right? And they're fun, so it gives you something to do. I am going to be offering them completed as well. So I will get into that later. All right, so that part looks good to me. And I'm going to put some glue on this side now so that I can put that on my house. So all I did was layer those 3 pieces. Now, since this one is going on my house, I want to get as much glue on it as possible because this is the one that's adhering the whole thing. So I'm going in between the little spots too and making sure that there's a little bit of glue there. But again, I don't want it to push out over the edges. So okay, got some glue. So when you place this on here, I'm just going to place it where the curve stops. So the bottom point of my fence is going to be right where the curve stops, and it starts to go up straight with no curve. And it should go exactly edge to edge right there. And you want to make sure that you've got it on there straight. Sorry, my head's going to be in the way while I'm double checking this. Okay, so now I'm going to leave this setting, applying some pressure so that it dries well before I move on to putting the piece on the back. But I will show you what I was talking about with the burlap, or I keep calling it burlap, with the twine. So you have a piece of twine and you tie it, so you can loop it through both holes and then tie it once. And then pull it up from the loop. I can tuck that through because that's going to be the glued side. So this is going to be, this will be glued on to the back of the house, and then that acts as the hanger. So you'll know where to put it so that this isn't going to show when you're hanging it, but that will fit on a wreath hanger that's hanging over your door. If you don't want to put it over your door on a wreath hanger, you can still use this method and put that on your nail or your hook or whatever you're using, or you can use the sawtooth hanger. And I'm going to wait until my fence is good and dry before I mess with that, because I don't want my fence to go awry. So you're going to glue your pegs in your holes, okay? And when this will come with any of the add-on sets. So for instance, I started this one, so it'll hang right on the pegs. I started this one with a lemon design, so you'll have some kind of design that will go on this, that will hang on your sign, and then you'll have things that will go on the inside as well. So you're gonna, what you get the first month is a base piece, and I'm gonna figure out one design that will go with it, and then the add-on pieces will be less expensive each month. But so you can you'll paint and put together pieces like this and put them in this. And then, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, these ones are a little too big. They need to be sized differently. But if, for example, you might have something like this, and this can hang down there, and a little banner up here that that might say Happy 4th or something like that, or maybe a welcome sign, and things like that. So those would fit inside your picket fence. Let me flip this back around. So these would fit inside your picket fence and hang out there for the month or the season or whatever it is that you wanted to do. But that's how we put the house together, and we'll see you in the next video.